Well, hello! In this lesson, we're going to be learning about how to make our shapes loop across the screen. All right? So it's pretty straightforward. The first thing we're going to do is just start with our old steps to animate it. So let's just get this animated before we do anything. So we'll just declare a variable. Let's call it x because it's going left to right. We're going to initialize it in our setup function. We're going to say x equals 0. We are going to use it, right? So I'm going to go over here and say x plus 50. And then finally, we know the last step. Say it with me. No, don't. But you can, but don't. We're going to say x equals x plus 1, and we'll get this guy moving over here. So we're stuck with a problem now. This ball just goes off forever, and we'll miss it. So really what we want to do is get this thing to come and loop back around, and we need something called a conditional statement. Now, the way a conditional is written is like this. And this isn't real code. This is like, I'm just going to write it out. Don't take this like as absolutely what it does. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to say if ball goes off screen, then we're going to bring it back. Okay? Now, the real thing I want to point out here is the structure. To write a conditional statement, we say the word if, and then in parentheses, we put something that is true or false. Technically, this is called a Boolean statement. These are true or false statements. But we need to put something here that is either true or false, yes or no, right? So we can't say like, here, say like, what's up, right? That's not a true or false statement. That's just saying what's up. We just do something like, it is raining outside, right? That's either true or false, right? My shoes are green. It's either true or false. They're not, by the way. So in this parenthesis, we write something that we want to see is true or false. In this case, it's the ball goes off the screen. And then in the parentheses is what do we want to happen when that statement is true? All right. And these parentheses, I got to say, very important. People forget them all the time because this is what the computer will do if this statement is true. Now, if I press play here, a lot of errors, right? This can't. That's not even. These are words. The computer doesn't speak words. We got to convert this to math. So what I'm going to say is this. Let's just take this and put it away. We're going to replace things later. Is what we're going to do is just figure out like at what value of x does the ball get off the screen. So the next step is to observe that where it goes off the screen. So if I observe, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say text x, and I'm going to put this at 2020. So over here in the top left corner, you're going to see there's an x value. Now let's make this a little bigger so we can all see it together. Okay, let's make it nice and big. Okay, and you'll see that x is going up. Okay, and we got to figure out at what number does the ball go off the screen. Let's see. A little fast. It was like 300 and something, but let's slow down the frame count a little. Let's make this a little easier. What we could do is say this. Frame rate, and let's bring this down to like 10. And then let's say this. We'll make it a little faster. Okay, let's see if we can figure it out now. What number does it go off the screen? Now, let's say 400. You don't have to be exact, all right? As long as it's off the screen and you pick a number, you're good. So I'm going to say 400 here. So right here, remember our conditional statement where it says if ball goes off the screen? The real way we could write this is if x is greater than 400, right? That's when the ball goes off the screen. When x gets to a point where it's greater than 400, meaning it's like over here, the x, right? That means the ball has gone off the screen. So this is either true or false. Either x is greater than 400 or it's not greater than 400. Now the next part is to then write what we want to happen. And what we're really doing to bring it back is just resetting x to 0. So check it out. X equals 0. So let's try this now. Check it out. Let's see if this works. When it gets to 400, let's see, it goes off the screen and comes back. Now if you notice here, it's not great because it kind of just reappears over here, right? Because we did start the ball. When it's 0, it actually starts over here in the animation. So really we want to kind of bring it back actually a little backwards. So the way I could do that is by pushing this number back. So let's set it back to like negative 100. All right, and that means instead of starting here, it's going to start 100 back from there. So let's try it again. Let's see how this looks. Okay, here we go, and pretty good, right? So let's take this off now because that's a little annoying. And let's press play. You'll see here. There we go. Now we're looping. And that's really it. So there's really two steps to doing this. Okay? The first step is to observe it. We want to just watch it. And then once we realize where it goes off the screen, right, where x is greater than 400, we reset the number, right? So we're setting it back to negative 100. So we're pushing it back a little bit. Now that's really the whole thing. I do want to point out that there is a little bit of math here. So right now our canvas is 400, right? And the ball starts at 50, right? 0 plus 50 is 50. So really for this ball to go off the screen, it has to travel 350 to go off of it. So if, for example, if I add 350 to this, right? You can see here, that's almost off the screen. Really, we have to do it at 425 because if the diameter is 50, half of that's 25. So it's really totally off the screen at 425. There you go. You can actually see like the little outline there. But really what we're doing is just saying, if this is x plus 50, we're saying whatever this number is plus this number should be more than the canvas size, right? Now you could use bigger numbers. Let's say I use 500 here, right? Let's see what the difference is. See, it just takes a little longer, right? Because now it's like looping farther off the screen. So over here, it's going to loop like over here somewhere, and it takes a little bit longer. So it's not like you're going to be wrong, but as long as it's off the screen here, right? So 400 plus 50 is definitely greater than 400, and that gets me off the screen. But like I said, really, if you observe, where does it go off the screen? And then you write your condition, it'll be fine. Now, part 2 of this lesson is, what if we want the ball to go left? It's not exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is actually start my ball here at 350, and I'm going to make it go to the left by going negative. And once again, let's get our frame rate down. Okay, I'll get it down to 10. Now let's look at this. Now notice how if it goes left, x actually decreases, right? So when it goes off the screen, this time it's like negative 400. So let's say I put here negative 400. I change that up. Let's see what this does. Notice how it starts, it doesn't do anything. All right, and that's because x is always greater than negative 400. This is always true, all right, because x is 0. 0, believe it or not, is greater than 400. So this statement's always true, so it always does this. It sets x to negative 100 all the time. It can't move. It's frozen in place. So when we're going left, we actually want it to wait until it goes less than negative 400. So we want to, like, if this goes to negative 500, that would be less than. So we want x to be less than negative 400, and we'll push it back. So let's see how this looks. Okay. Okay, good, but see how it reappears over here? That's because I'm pushing it to the left. I actually want to push it to the right now. So I want to add to x to make it move more to the right. So let's try this now. Let's see how this looks. And pretty good. All right, we can take the frame rate back. And here we go. So I'll just put a little note here for you. I'll say right greater than, left less than. Let's put that as a little note so you know what symbol to use, okay? Okay, and that's the whole lesson. So I have nothing else to tell you. Remember, don't forget to observe, see where it goes off the screen, then write your conditional statement. And that's it. Good luck.